I shouldn't have to fucking work.
American schools should be focused on STEM, yet teachers like these are trying to make our schools focused on LGBTQ studies, like making rainbow clubs and the toilet time for very young students, which is very inappropriate. And then when these students grow up and go to college, they don't know how to provide any value, and they are told by their professors that we should be taxing the rich and that they should be allowed to live off of welfare programs. This video is going viral of a full-time college student claiming that he should not have to work because we live in the wealthiest nation, and just complaining that everything is so expensive. So let's hear from him.
What the fuck is the point of living in America, being a student in America, if I can't fucking live? I woke up today, I have $17 in my bank account. My rent's paid, I'm good for a month. Don't know what I'm gonna do next month. Wasn't able to work last week, so yeah. And I've been bleeding money since I got financial aid. And now I got $17 in my bank account. And you're like, what do you do, right? Full-time student, works full-time. Get a better job? Is that the solution? No, it's not the fucking solution. I shouldn't have to fucking work every goddamn day to bleed fucking money. I'm a fucking student who lives in the richest fucking country on earth. My goddamn taxes should be fucking taking care of me, not bombing people in the Middle East. But no, people in America are fucking starving, and our stupid president is building a goddamn ballroom with money he put in his own fucking pockets. He settled a lawsuit with himself with our fucking money, our fucking taxes.
Okay.
I'm not the only one who's going through this shit. If you weren't born rich, you're pretty much even if you were born middle class, you're still kind of because FAFSA can't give you more money, and if your family is struggling, and if you're like me, which you're not the first kid to go to college, you're...
He is not the most positive speaker of our day, right? F Donald Trump is how he decided to end it. I mean, he's obviously not solution-oriented at all, and it does sound like many excuses, but apparently some people could relate to him. This post says he is angry because he is going to school and working full-time. He has $17 to his name, owns nothing, and he has no hope in his life. That's so sad. How is he going to improve? I mean, even if he continues to do everything right, it's like, oh, okay, yes, he did everything right. He goes to college full-time, but how does that make you money? It doesn't matter if you have all the knowledge in your head, if you're not using it or applying it somehow. In fact, I think work experience is more valuable. And that's why I found the Capital One high school program where kids are going to work super valuable and awesome. And a lot of people are also saying that he should have gotten a job in the trade. So they show the difference between Adam and Chris. Chris is on a 4-year paid apprenticeship program. He has no student debt. He makes over $100,000 a year, and he's about to disconnect Adam's electricity. And meanwhile, Adam has a master's degree in philosophy, and he has $100,000 in debt, and he can't find a philosophy job, and he thinks people without degrees are stupid. And I think that that is a lot of the problem sometimes, is that people put so much value into titles. Right now, we have such an opportunity to learn from the president. He has written many books about how to build wealth, and this kid could totally learn from him. It is possible for anybody in America to start from absolutely nothing and build something incredible that will help so many people's lives. And here's another man who explains why the trades, why they are beneficial, and he's dispelling this myth that they're for the kids who were bad in school.
For people who failed in school. Well, that's what they're saying now, which is funny because the guys in the trades are actually the ones running million-dollar businesses. They're pulling in 6-figure paychecks, you know, and they're literally building the world that you live in. Meanwhile, some of y'all got straight A's just to end up with straight debt and no clue how to unclog your own sink.
Oh.
School might teach you formulas, but the trades, they teach you how to turn the knowledge into cash, skills, and freedom. It sounds like a win to me. So no, trades aren't for failures, guys. They're for people smart enough to skip the BS and get to work. Yeah.
I love that. Robert Kiyosaki says that C students end up employing A students. I do believe that people who have gone into the trades are going to be the people who are going to innovate. They're the leaders of our entire society. Peter Thiel said in his book, From Zero to One, that our world really has not changed that much. If you look around, everything is the same that it has been since the 60s. Even cars haven't really changed that much, but in the world of bits, that's where all of the progress seems to be happening, yet the rest of the world has been left behind. And so when you have people who can work on homes, build homes, and help people with their physical world that seems to be forgotten about in so many ways, it provides so much value because it seems like everybody has forgotten about it. And here's another person who is similar to the last student who claims that basically he shouldn't have to work, I guess.
Me personally, I'm in sober living, and I can't work because I'm doing GED program right now. Like I'm going to school right now, and it's like right now with the government shutdown, the big beautiful bill that's going on right now. You probably heard of it. It's causing issues for me because I'm on EBT, so I can eat, and they're shutting it down next month, and I won't be able to eat, which is going to cause big issues. And if I went to a food bank, with everything shut down, all the food's going to be gone, so I'm not going to be able to eat.
I don't really see how any of this was connected. Again, it just sounds like a bunch of excuses. And this relates back to our education system because I find it really bizarre that we're not taught many life skills. And that's why it's so important that parents instill those things in their kids. It's just a little bit weird that the school does have our kids for such a long time, and yet they are trying to bombard them with the most idiotic things. This is for 3rd and 4th graders where they're having LGBTQ plus students, allies, and friends get together every 1st and 3rd Fridays of the month during lunchtime. And this is an elementary school. I mean, it's ridiculous, and it creates products like this that aren't actually providing any value to the world. I mean, to some degree, maybe it's entertainment value, but it's just trash entertainment. It's a waste of time to watch, and it's not beneficial to our development as people.
So I'm 21. I'm not being kicked out, but I'm being forced out of my household. Basically, I live rent-free with my grandparents. They're very cool. My grandma is on my side, but my grandpa is not allowing me to have my friends over or my boyfriend over because
Well, go grandpa. I mean, it's just a great representation of how our school system has failed so many people. Libs of TikTok does a great job at exposing all of these schools. And unfortunately, a lot of them are in the state of Colorado, which is a trans sanctuary state, and they flock here. It's pretty wild. So they had something that even just sounds so off. The toilet times is really weird to print out on a pamphlet. It says your go-to news for when you've got to go. Be an ally, use correct pronouns. Just why are we putting any focus on this at all? Kids should be learning skills that are going to help them in life. And a lot of times we think, oh, well, sports are really great for that because it teaches them discipline, it gets them moving, they learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable and making their body strong, etc. And yet they are not leaving sports untouched as well. So again, Libs of TikTok is exposing this school. A2 Public Schools at Skyline High School is under fire after it was discovered that a male pretending to be a female is competing on the girls' volleyball team. We have seen far too many cases of this. Honestly, another thing that I wanted to bring up is it's just strange how outdated our schools are, in that kids just sit in desks, and just how things are changing so quickly, but our schools have been the same for far, far too long. And now it's like AI is taking up a lot of the jobs. So it doesn't really make sense to sit on a desk and study the certain dates that things happened, or remember all of these random facts that they make you remember for tests for absolutely no reason, when instead kids could be learning how to use this technology to their advantage. And my point is that a lot of kids don't feel related to school, and so it's like sports are one of their biggest outlets for creativity or energy. And so even when they begin pushing their agendas into sports as well, it's like these kids never get a break. I feel really bad for them that they have teachers like this.
Income tax rates for very high income earners. If we were back in the 50s, the top marginal tax rate in the 1950s was 90%. For every person earning over $1 million.
Jeez.
And just to be clear, no one earns $1 million. So for everyone taking home more than $1 million, every dollar after $1 million, the state would keep
so basically
90 cents of that.
In the 50s, nobody had any incentive to earn more than $1 million.
We can also look at capital gains tax. Capital gains is when uber rich people sell assets like stocks and bonds.
Uber rich?
For profit.
Anybody would get capital gains when they sell stock or real estate.
And we can tax that profit. Those kinds of ways of rich people making their money make money for them, we can tax that. So we have to set a tax policy that allows us to fund the programs that Oregonians deserve. And that's the way I would approach it. And yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
This is Tammy, and she is on the Beaverton School Board and is running for House District. Crazy that she could work her way up into politics while being endorsed by the Democrat Socialists of America. I mean, this type of mentality absolutely sucks. Instead of trying to learn from wealthy people in the country that are making their money work from them, she just wants to take the easy path and try to steal their money. And so this is the kind of stuff that is being pushed in schools by these teachers. I cannot explain to you guys how many teachers and professors I saw celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. They are people who hate our country. So another issue in our schools is just kind of the violence and the bullying. So apparently in Florida, this student was kind of really hardcore shamed, which I'm kind of okay with because he wrote a kill list. And I don't know about you guys in your experiences, but what have you guys noticed is being done when these kinds of incidents happen? Because sometimes it seems like the victims are made out as the enemies. And it's like, oh, all the people on the list shouldn't have done whatever they did to make this kid upset. I've been seeing a lot of patterns of that in schools throughout the nation. And so let me know if you guys think that this is justified.
All right, buddy, careful, just can't come on inside. Walk all the way down that door there, okay?
Well, I mean, if you want to act like a criminal, you're going to be treated like a criminal because eventually they're going to go out into the real world and find out that that type of behavior is not okay. But when the schools are protecting bad behavior, then they're just encouraging them to do it more later. I mean, it's actually wild that they did all of that. But I think one of the coolest programs that I remember in school is when they taught us how to write checks and how to make a resume. And they did this little simulation where we would go to work, and it was amazing. And it's kind of like that's what they're doing to this kid, but on the other side. So it's kind of sad. But I mean, I think that if the parents aren't going to be disciplining the kid, the world is going to at some point. And honestly, this is the result of kids who were not disciplined by their parents, and now they went on to become teachers for some reason. Pride flags and colors everywhere because F off Lives of TikTok for calling them out, which they rightfully should. I mean, this stuff has no place in school. And even a lot of conservatives say, I don't care if these people want to transition or marry whoever they want when they become adults, but don't force it on our kids. And I don't think that that is asking too much.
Board members, are you the boss of Dr. Huff, or is Dr. Huff the boss of you? Because from where I stand, it looks like he's the boss of you. Something I now know to be true due to my open records request is a male student used the female locker room in the high school under a teacher's watch from August to November of 2024. However, to this day, you all, along with administrators, refuse to admit it happened. In fact, you all refuse to answer any questions regarding that situation that put our teenage girls in jeopardy. Parents haven't been told how the situation was rectified, even if it was. Dr. Huff, you let security video footage be destroyed of the hallways, and that was evidence. About 3 weeks ago, I emailed you all and administrators requesting an investigation to be done to see if my daughter had her privacy violated, and Dr. Huff denied my request because I didn't know if it happened. Isn't that the point of an investigation?
I mean, these schools are actively working against the parents. We have to waste time fighting with the schools about these horrible things. Oregon City Council Heidi Hoffman says her trans kid fled the U.S. Where exactly did he go after Trump was elected because it was not safe? These are the kinds of conversations that we're wasting time on.
51% of transgender Americans say they want to leave this country. My child was one of them.
Goodbye, farewell.
Moved abroad after Trump was reelected. They moved abroad because they no longer felt safe in Seaside.
Where did they go?
It was safe to remain here. I've been told that some members of this council find this topic too political.
No, it's not about. What about safety for everybody else? What about safety for the girls in the locker room changing? And there's a guy in there. What about safety for the girls that just want to play volleyball and there's a guy that can jump 5 times higher than them and hit the ball way harder and they get hit in the head and knocked out? What about their safety? It's so backwards. Okay, let's see what Libs of TikTok is exposing here. They say California is giving this survey to schools to ask 6th graders if they're non-binary or transgender. 6th graders. What's your gender? Yep, they have it right there. Non-binary or something else. I just don't even understand why we're having this conversation and why in colleges this is what they're doing. There's nothing exciting about this. There's no path to pursue here except insanity. This is going to be the destruction of our country. Why are our schools producing this?
And let me say something else, resentfully. Cis women think they're gonna give me tips. Your husbands are DMing me in the middle of the night and you think you're gonna give me tips.
These are things that are not even figured out amongst adults. A man has not been able to transition into a woman yet. It has not happened. It's simply not possible. In fact, it's so ridiculous that progressives are trying to pretend that they are progressing into this futuristic world where you can be whatever you want, and then they just come out botched.
I was at Barnes & Noble a little while ago, and I was in the bathroom, and I came out of the stall, and this dude's in there putting on his lipstick, and I got scared. My heart sunk. And so I left the bathroom, waited for him to come out, and as you can see in the video, I questioned him. I'm like, I still don't know to this day. Is that a chick? A dude? I don't even know.
This grown woman was afraid and totally put off by it. Now imagine being a young kid. I can't imagine how difficult it must be right now to be a teenager and be dealing with the pressures of social media and society and all this weird stuff.
Okay, a lot of the MAGA women receive gender-affirming care, such as lip fillers, breast augmentation, etc. Why do you think they are so against gender-affirming care for trans people?
You know you want to say it.
Okay, so I have this thing where, like, you know a MAGA woman when you see one.
1000%.
They all have a look, right?
Back,
but they lips be up to anyway. That's a whole other issue. But yeah, they don't even know because when that was brought up on the House floor, because there was a discussion about this on the House floor. they were like, how dare you say we use, and it's like, no, that's exactly what y'all do. Y'all just didn't realize that that's what it is. But okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because they have made the beauty standard into something that is so fake and like plastic. It's like boobs are supposed to be like massive. And I do think the internet has a big part in that. But the fact that they're bringing that all into the schools and kids are not able to just accept themselves for how they look and who they are because of people like Jasmine Crockett and then focus on their studies. And that's all that conservatives want. It's just keep this stuff out of school. And then because our schools are creating so many like kind of not as talented people, then they start to push for DEI programs.
When I started with U.S. Capitol Police, there were 0, as in no persons of color and no women in leadership positions.
Well, maybe that's the way it ought to be. And what happened at UC Berkeley was an absolute disgrace that these universities knew that these communists and terrorist groups were going to come and harass all of the attendees of the Turning Point event is just an absolute disgrace. Our schools and our universities are in a lot of trouble. Look at how these college students act.
What the actual... Excuse me, can you not do that, please? Really? Really? Why are you doing this to our signs? Why do you think you can touch our signs? That is just despicable behavior. That is despicable. Would you like to apologize to the camera? You wouldn't like to do that. So could you explain why you trampled on our signs, please?
Code hot dog, $5 off her checkout. She can't because she's not proud of herself.
We have freedom of speech just as you do.
Code hot dog, $5 off our checkout. Winter walk tomorrow. Be there.
Destroy other people's property. That's not freedom of speech. You can't.
Like, as somebody who didn't go to college, I just find it hard to imagine what the transition would be like after spending 6 more years in a place where you're told what assignments to do. And the other weird thing is that imagine you want to study or learn something and then you're told what to study next. It's like, imagine you're going down your own path of interest, but then you cannot follow what you were interested in. You have to follow what the curriculum is. It just makes people who are very obedient and they're told certain things. They're told, oh, Charlie Kirk was racist. This Turning Point USA is bad. And they're like, okay, yes, I understand. I will follow orders. I will do my assignment. I will turn it in on November 20th by noon. I will show up to class. I will do this. And it's just like, yes, and taking orders, but I just feel like it's not making courageous leaders. It's making people who are just kind of followers to a really detrimental movement.
Hey, can you not touch our yard signs?
No.
Hey, can you not touch our yard signs? Why are you touching our yard signs? Hey, can we get the police over here? This lady just assaulted me. Why did you remove our signs? Why did you just hit me? What's your name?
Get out of my face.
No, why did you just assault me?
Get out of my face.
No, why did you just assault me? This is freedom of speech, and you're willing to hurt somebody because of freedom of speech.
Oh, so I can't move your signs?
No, that's pathetic. You just hit me.
What can we really expect when students in the 3rd and 4th grade are being given toilet time papers? If 3rd and 4th graders are being taught how to write their goals and visualize themselves being able to achieve wonderful things in the future, I think that would create a much better society in the future, one that I would want to live in. Please make sure that you are subscribed. I'll see you next time. Bye.